Oh man, that was such a longer hiatus than I meant for it to be, but I told you it would be back. Well, hello everyone, and welcome back at last to Story Mode. If you're new here, hello, my name is Dan. This is a highly accelerated, story-focused playthrough of Final Fantasy XIV, the MMO. We've been doing this for a while. We've already played through the base game on this channel, and we've played through the first major expansion. Today, we are going to kick off the second expansion, Stormblood, and I am ever so excited. I've really been itching to get back to this. I think it's only right that we kick things off in the customary fashion by watching the trailer cinematic for Stormblood. So, without further ado, enjoy. It feels good to be back. There's so much to look forward to. It's going to be fun. Now, before we start, two quick things. One, if you are wanting to watch everything that we have played through in this series so far, I've got a link down in the description where you got like a whole playlist with everything in order. You can watch it all handily from there. Also, let's all be considerate for everybody who is watching and avoid any spoilers down in the comments. There's lots of folks watching this series who have not played through the game themselves, and I would not want to spoil the fun story surprises ahead for anyone, so let's all be courteous down there and not ruin it for anyone. But okay, let's go ahead and log in and see our little guy. It's been forever. Durmin. Durmin, wake up. Durmin, there's people. Sorry, I didn't mean to leave you in here for months, buddy, but you're looking good. Everyone, this is Durmin, and he's very happy to meet you or see you again, as the case may be. And his hair has grown out a little longer than last we saw him. That's what happens when you leave him in the Rising Stones for 6 months and don't give him a chance to visit the esthetician. Anyway, we are still here in the home base of the Scions, the Rising Stones, and before we begin, because it has been a little while, I imagine some of you probably have a pretty hazy memory of what the most recent events in the story were. Allow me to give you a quick summary. Incidentally, I do still always add timestamps to all of these videos, so if you are watching this whole series in the playlist later on and do not need a summary of the thing you literally just watched, feel free to skip ahead. Previously on Story Mode, Ilbert and his contingent of traitorous former Crystal Braves staged an Eorzean attack on Baelsar's Wall, the border between the Eorzean territory we are familiar with and the Garlean-occupied lands of Alamigo. This was an attempt to incite open war between the Eorzean Alliance and the Garlean Empire, in hopes that it might accelerate Alamigo's liberation. But Ilbert's machinations were even more insidious than that, it turned out, because he sacrificed his resistance allies, using their cries for deliverance, the eyes of Nidhogg, and his own life as fuel to unleash an unfathomably powerful primal upon the Garleans occupying Alamigo. Papalymo gave his life casting a spell to temporarily restrain this monster. And with no other alternatives, Eorzean leadership gave Cid and Nero permission to activate a long-buried Allagan machine called Omega in a desperate play to disable the primal more permanently. The resulting clash caused considerable damage to the area, and the current condition and whereabouts of the combatants are unknown. Also, with Papalymo's passing, Ida's neck tattoos marking her status as a Sharlayan scholar vanished, and she decided to come clean. Her real name is Lyse. Ida was actually her older sister, an Alamigan revolutionary who was killed in action several years back. Lyse had donned Ida's mask and pretended to be her sister ever since, with Papalymo's help. But she's done pretending now, and she wants to carry on her family's fight to free Alamigo. And now she's probably going to get her chance because Eorzean forces are taking advantage of the chaos to seize Baelsar's Wall, and it does look for all the world like open war is brewing. And that's pretty much it. You're caught up now. Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV Story Mode. Let's go talk to the twins, whom I have missed ever so much. Alice, how are you doing? If all proceeds to plan, we should soon be receiving word that Alliance forces have secured Baelsar's Wall. Until then, however, we can but ensure we're ready to move the moment we hear the news. Yes, y'all have been waiting a long time, but I'm finally ready. Alphino, you look like you're deep in thought. How's it going? Alphino is a man with a great deal on his mind. What else is new?
The question is, how will the Empire respond to the disappearance of Omega and the Primal? Oh, I didn't see you there. Forgive me. Word from Baelsar's Wall is proving long in the coming, and my mind cannot help but stray to grim places.
Alphino, a message from the Alliance.
It's about time. Pray summon the others at once.
Yes, sir.
Boy, I have missed this bunch of characters.
General Uldin reports that his forces have secured the breach in Baelsar's Wall.
And what of the Primal and Omega?
There is still no sign of either at this time. He writes that they will begin a more thorough investigation shortly. And, as expected, he wishes to petition the aid of the Scions of the Seventh Dawn.
As expected.
The Alliance's decision to capture a part of Baelsar's wall is open to interpretation.
The wall serves to demarcate Imperial territory, Alamigo included, from the rest of Eorzea. To an observer, the Alliance's actions could be seen as a prelude to invasion.
Indeed. And the Alliance leaders have no wish to be branded invaders.
You're saying they won't fight for Alamigo? Even after everything that's happened?
Not without the consent of her people, no. Make no mistake, Lyse. The Alliance is in complete agreement that the Empire must be purged from Eorzea. However, they will not set foot in Gyr Abania until they have formally secured the consent and cooperation of the Alamigan opposition.
They would have us act as intermediaries.
Precisely. The Scions are uniquely qualified to serve in this capacity. That is to say, Lyse's, given her personal connection to the Resistance. Who better than you to broker an agreement between the Alliance and the people of Alamigo? Assuming you are willing, of course.
Of course I am! You know I'd like nothing more!
As for who should accompany you on said diplomatic mission, I had a mind to volunteer myself.
Well, that covers the talking part. But you just know there'll be trouble along the way. Are you available?
Available and excited, as if you had to ask. Not that you need my help punching things, but still.
Thanks. It means a lot knowing you'll be there.
I too shall accompany you. Such endeavors are seldom hampered by a surfeit of healers.
Good point. Allow me to offer my services as well.
I have spent quite enough time here of late, so I'll be coming, but we will need someone to keep an eye on things. I trust you have no objections?
None, my lady. Gladly shall I continue to serve as caretaker of the Waking Sands, and there keep watch for signs of primal and Ascian activity both.
As capable as my learned friend undoubtedly is, there are some troubles that may prove too much for a single scion, on account of which I mean to stay.
It is settled then. Let us each see to our preparations.
And there's our first quest accepted. And the new quest accepted jingle. Remember, they changed that quest accepted and completed music for every expansion. Always a little jarring at first, but you get used to it. Tataru, it's been so long. You remember Monongo, don't you? The messenger who brought word of the Griffin's attack on Baelsar's wall? Well, she left not long ago, having made a full recovery. If you see her in Gyr Abania, be sure to send my love. So it's finally happening. Don't tell anyone, but I'm feeling a little bit nervous. Only a bit, mind. I'll be fine once we get going. Hopefully. You'll do great. I'm also nervous. It's been like months since I recorded this series. I feel rusty.
Ready, my friend?
Extremely so.
Well then. Tataru, I leave the rising stones in your capable hands.
Don't worry, Alphino. I'll see that the place is still standing when you come back.
Hello.
Mistress Y'shtola has unfolded all. You are bound for Gyr Abania?
Aye. The Alliance would have us make contact with the Alamigan resistance as soon as possible.
It begins then. As soon it shall in Doma, if the gods are good. 'Tis but a pity it must be now. I am sorry that we shall not be present to fight beside you in the battles to come.
You have stood with us countless times, Lady Yugiri. Pray do not apologize.
Then let us thank you instead. You and yours stood with us from the first, when we came to this land as refugees in search of sanctuary. Loath am I to think what might have become of my people, had you not extended to us the hand of friendship. We will never forget. This I solemnly swear.
Much has changed since first you set foot on these shores. Revenant's Toll stands as a testament to that. I'm sure your people will manage in your absence.
Indeed. They have built a new home for themselves and no longer need me to shepherd them. The time has come for Kozetsu and I to return to our master, to our home.
I know how you feel. It's time I went home too.
Though our battlefields be 1,000 mounds apart, our purpose is one. That all men hearken to the clarion call of freedom, of liberation, from Eorzea to the far east, that they may rise up and cast down the curse of Garlemald.
Take care, you hear me? When all of this is over, we're going to celebrate, together. Just you wait.
I should like that very much. Fare you well.
See y'all later. Sooner than you might think. A 1,000 malms apart, yet united in purpose. Let us pray both our endeavors meet with success. Shall we then? Wait, not just yet. I knew I'd forgotten something important. Lyse, could you come with me? Me? What, now? All right then, if you insist. Tataru, you are good at what you do. What do you think? As you can see, I designed it to be light and loose, an outfit tailor-made to the needs of a skilled fighter like Lyse. Your work never ceases to impress. Much more of this, and I may have to stop introducing you as the Scion's receptionist and start referring to you as our preeminent seamstress. It's lovely, Tataru. Thank you. I feel like I could take on a legion. I'm glad you like it. And with that, I'll delay you no longer. Safe travels! Then onward to Garabania. Our first stop will be at Amarise's Spire, in the East Shroud. Let's go! And you know, it has been a little bit. I should probably check and make sure this is still working properly. A little out of practice, but gets the job done. I'm here, everyone. Just a minute. Again, out of practice. What on earth is going on back? I don't want to know. How's it going, everybody? I won't let you down, Papalimo. I promise. Oh, you never would. Papalimo had to know it would only be temporary. If Grandfather couldn't contain Bahamut with the power of 1,000 prayers, then what chance did his disciples stand, armed only with a broken staff? Was it always his plan to sacrifice his life to complete the ritual? To bring forth the arbiter of his vengeance, but not remain to see the aftermath? Though it may not be apparent to the naked eye, the ether here is in turmoil. Not since the calamity has this land been subjected to forces of the magnitude unleashed by Shinryu and Omega. I'm very excited to see what lies beyond the wall. All are present and accounted for. When you're ready, my friend, pray inform the officer that we wish to proceed to Girabania. I'm so ready. Let's go. Oh, I think folks are going over there to handle whatever that is, and I'm grateful because I don't want to. Ah, the Scions of the Seventh Dawn. We were told to expect you. Shall I summon someone to escort you to the wall? Yes, please. Ooh, fancy. And we arrive in our first new Stormblood zone.
I remember crossing the border, standing in Girabania once more. Me and my fellow Scions, the warrior of light among us. Behind us, Baelsar's wall cutting the land in two. Freedom on one side, tyranny on the other. Tyranny and the promise of a new beginning. But one that could only be bought with flames and blood.
Sorry again about the tiny subtitles. In cinematics like these, I can't control the size of those, unfortunately. But here we are. Kind of cloudy, but par for the course. Let's get all attuned before we forget. All right. So, anyone familiar whom I should make a point of saying hi to? Well, obviously a whole bunch of folks over here, but any other faces we would know? I'm thinking maybe not. Well, all right then. Boy, everyone's orderly over here. Quite an atmosphere here, isn't there? Everyone seems to be on pins and needles, though one can hardly blame them given recent events. The Alliance has done well to repurpose these Imperial facilities for their own so quickly. The General's in high spirits, don't you think? I know the feeling. To see the colors of so many nations, Lim-Solominsa, Gridania, Ul'dah, and now Ishgard, well nigh brings a tear to my eye. We've much to be proud of, Durmin. We really do, boy, we've achieved quite a bit. Also, really glad to have you out in the field on the regular now. So this is East End. Not too different from the rest of the Shroud, is it? Although, truth be told, I'm not sure why I thought it would be. Greetings, Scions. On behalf of the Eorzean Alliance, I welcome you to Castrum Oriens. Thank you, General. We were relieved to hear that your forces secured the wall without incident. Have the Imperials made any attempts to retake the Castrum since then? None. Save for a few skirmishes between our scouts and their patrols, we've had barely any contact with them. But we all know it's only a matter of time before things escalate. As if attacking Baelsar's wall weren't enough, Ilbert summoned a primal right on their doorstep, and Garlemald's not like to let such shows of defiance go unanswered. 'Twas a declaration of war, even if it was not Ilbert's to make, and now we're bound by it, for weal or for woe. The Scions stand ready to serve, General. What would you ask of us? As stated in my message, the Alliance will not proceed without the support and cooperation of the Alamegan people. We would have you serve as our emissaries and make contact with the Resistance. Consider it done, General. We won't let you down, I swear. Then I'll leave you to it. Godspeed. Oh, hello. Ha! Of all the Castor in the world, you walk into mine. Master Garland, what brings you here? A certain missing Allagan weapon and draconic primal. Omega and Shinryu, I think the shinobi called it. Anyway, we've been studying their trail of destruction, hoping it might lead us somewhere, which it has singularly failed to do. Then it's like Omega fell to Earth in occupied territory, meaning it may already be in Imperial hands. Even so, it bears repeating that we engaged the stasis systems. Assuming the command was received and executed successfully, the weapon will be of no use to them. Assuming. We should hurry up and find it, regardless. Gonna have to get warmed up in everyone's voices again. Gracious. All the more reason to reach out to the Resistance. If we want to press on into Garabania, we'll need their blessing. Everyone's counting on us. Let's not waste any more time talking. I agree. Unless y'all feel like doing the talking. I do appreciate y'all are doing a lot more talking these days. Just, keep it up. The bridge over the Veladina River has always held great strategic importance, hence the Garleans' decision to transform it into a fortified installation. Needless to say, we will not be crossing there. If anyone can determine the fate of Shinryu no Omega, it's Master Garland. For now, let us remain focused on our current mission. Sounds good. Were Omega not a threat to us all, its effectiveness in subduing draconic foes would seem almost admirable. But such weapons are doomed to be misused. Let's pray we never have need of its services again. Yeah, we kinda got lucky at halfway worked the first time. I do hope you're not thinking about running off to help Master Garland. It's not your duty to solve all the world's problems, You could have fooled me. Half the time it really does feel like it might be. Lyse is eager to leave Castromorians. Right, sorry. As you probably heard, there are plenty of factions in the Resistance, so I'm taking us to see the one with the most influence. Their headquarters are located in a place called Ralger's Reach, an old temple to the east of here, across the Veladina River. I learned a route that should allow us to avoid Imperial patrols. Stick with me and we'll be there before you know it. Sounds great. Let's get going. Quayfriend, I could use some longer legs. Good to see our little buddy again. All right, let's head out. Welcome to a new locale, gonna walk around that. I'm higher level than it, but let's not be reckless. Welcome to Garabania, everyone. This is our first time. Something that I really like about Stormblood, that I think gives it a lot of just narrative character, is this is really the first time in the game, or in the story, that we've been traversing through area that, our nations didn't control in some capacity. So, we're in unsafe territory at all times, and I really like the just different vibe that adds to this expansion in general. Sorry, Lyse, I know you're in a rush, but I miss everybody. At the risk of upsetting the cartographic fraternity, I can't help observing that East End depends entirely on one's perspective. I mean, people don't even think of it as Gridania anymore, do they? They call it East End because it marks the end of the Black Shroud. Note the sparser vegetation. That makes sense. A little bit less foresty out here. I mean, relatively. Good trees, though. Look at these good greens and reds. It's so quiet. Almost as though the Imperials haven't been here for some time. On your guard. The Imperials know these lands better than we. Still with me? Good. From here, we'll head northeast towards the river. The water's not too deep, so we won't have to swim. It really was nice seeing in Heavensward that they got a whole lot better at introducing you to new locations. See, this is why I was walking around you. Tree, please. There's enough hazards out here. Enjoy the new battle music, I guess. That looks so mean. Why are all the big, mean monsters out today? But yeah, ever since Heavensward, they've gotten a lot better at just introducing new locations to you kind of bit by bit, sort of a guiding your introduction. It's an improvement, I say. And I really feel like Stormblood, Heavensward increased the scale of locations considerably, and also brought a really big visual upgrade. I feel like Stormblood has some of the most beautiful locations in the game yet. Much to look forward to. Y'shtola right. We need to cross before the Imperials spot us. I know, but I'm just enjoying the small talk so much. See, brother, nothing to worry about. Though no one would blame you for donning your buoyancy aids, just in case. Why are you teasing your non-swimming, apparently, brother? At a glance, it certainly seems shallow enough. Don't be mean. We should not linger out here in the open. I don't see any soldiers. Good. Let's cross. You're wondering about the tower to the south? It's part of Castellum Veladina. That's what the Imperials decided to call the old bridge after they fortified it. I call it a great big eyesore. Honestly, you can see that rotten banner from absolutely miles away. They never miss a chance to rub our noses in it, do they? Come on, we should keep moving. I mean, it's pretty shallow, but shallowness is kind of relative, isn't it? Alas, no more flight across the realm for us. We're in a new area, and so we're gonna have to start collecting these again. It's gonna be a while before we can fly here. So it goes. But here we go. Getting toward the eastern, well, northeastern end of the zone. And not even all the way that. Areas are big now. I've caught up. And we didn't run afoul of even a single patrol. What a pleasant surprise, in that there were no surprises. Lyse did well. It is reassuring. Oh, come on, you had any doubt. So the reach lies beyond, but I do not see a path. Are we there yet? Lyse, are we there yet? We're here. On the other side of this pass is Raga's Reach. So you say, but all I see are rocks. I presume there's some sort of trick to this. Indeed. A glamour. Good eye, Y'shtola. I take it they have a talented mage in their ranks. Or mayhap an artificer trained in the modification of glamour prisms? Something like that. The important thing is that it fools the Garleans. Oh, before we go in, I don't know if Tataru told you, but my friend Nago, the messenger who came to the Rising Stones, is a member of this faction. So they know us, and they shouldn't attack us on sight. That said, they can be a bit jumpy, so let me lead the way, and don't go reaching for your weapons or anything. And with a sprinkle of demasking dust, all is laid bare. Is it? Is it? Seeing it now, I feel rather foolish for not having deduced it earlier. I'm missing what was hidden here. Was it supposed to be a wall? I suppose you could disguise almost anything with a glamour prism if you really wanted to. Have you ever used one? Why am I asking? Of course you haven't. I'm using one right now. Well, maybe not to like hide a whole location, but to... Clothes. Let's pray they're more amenable to our proposal. United, we stand to accomplish so much more. Impressive or no, 20 years is a long time for even so complex a glamour to escape the Empire's notice. All clear. Let's go, let's go. I too am excited. Let's go, let's go. To Rhalgr's Reach.
I remember the old stories, how the Breaker of Worlds came down from on high and cleft the earth with a single blow. Rhalgr's Reach, a holy place and a fitting home for the Resistance, for the brave and the true, the loyal sons and daughters of Alamigo. They were waiting for us there, men and women whose souls still cried out for what was lost, for what could be ours again.
Hello. And we arrive. And what a place. Good choice for a hideout, I must say. We Scions could learn a thing or two from you. We just chose a couple kind of cozy buildings. Didn't know this was an option. This temple was once home to the Fist of Rhalgr, as I recall. Yes, there's no mistaking that statue. It's hard to feel at ease with that giant statue looking down on you. Yeah, I guess it makes it slightly less relaxing, but come on. Water feature, even. Ordinarily, I'd shudder at the thought of armed rebels trampling about in an ancient temple of immense historical importance, but Rhalgr is the Breaker of Worlds, so it seems rather appropriate, if anything. Fascinating. A massive, nigh imperceptible glamour encompassing the entire valley. I see now how the settlement was able to escape the watchful eyes of Imperial airships. Catching up. It's good to see Nago up and moving again. I wasn't there when she headed home, so I naturally assumed she'd left too soon. Always overdoing it, that one. I don't think that's supposed to happen. Hang on. Boy, that was weird. Okay. Fixed it, though. We're all back in. So, how are you doing, as I was about to say? A pleasure to see you again. And Kryl and Y'shtola, without whose help I might not be standing here today. At least not so soon. Yes, glad you are well. Hello. Oh, so you really came. I never thought I'd see you here, but I'm glad. I'm glad. That might be a familiar face for some of you, and if you don't recognize him, don't worry about it. I'll tell you later. You'll forgive us our precautions, but we couldn't be sure who had crossed the barrier. We see you now for who you are, though. The Scions of the Seventh Dawn. That's us. Our reputation precedes us, hopefully in a good way. Conrad knows the purpose of your visit and would like to give you a proper welcome. Now, I know you would not have come all this way unless you had something important to discuss, and I'm eager to hear what it is you have to say. But let's not do this on our doorstep, huh? Come with me. Okay. Nice coat, by the way. Where can I get one? I'll ask you later. It's Rhalgr's Reach, though. Not a whole big area. This is just kind of like a small... It's not even a city, just sort of like a small settlement in a little zone all of its own. Nice place, though. I like it. I'm so excited to see Stormblood again. It has been quite some time since I've been through Stormblood, and my memory of it has only grown fonder with time. I wouldn't go so far as to say it's my favorite expansion or anything. Shadowbringers has that honor, but there is a lot to like in... See, this person gets it. There is a lot to like in Stormblood, and I'm so excited to see it all again. We plan operations here when we're not entertaining important guests like yourselves, or whoever it is you've got stationed on the table here. When we first met back in the Shroud, I took you for just another adventurer. By Roger, I still can't believe how far you've come. So yes, Mefrid here is a character we have interacted with a good bit before, though you may not recognize him. He's got a new look, new costuming and everything. You remember back when we were in A Realm Reborn and we were out in Gridania in that one town where there were some Alamegan refugees, one of whom was sick and dying, and they were trying to get the Gridanians to help, but the Gridanians couldn't get the elementals clearance to do it, so they just weren't helping, and the Alamegan folks were just furious. That was Mefrid. Mefrid was the leader of that group who we helped. And turns out Mefrid's a prominent member of this resistance now, so we get to spend some more time with them. Again, Final Fantasy XIV does not throw its narrative toys away. Characters who are just little bit part folks earlier on can come back to have a lot of significance later, and I love that they do that. Anyway, sorry Conrad, you've been patient.
Allow me to welcome you once more to Ralga's Reach, our humble headquarters.
Whew, my guess at your voice was a bit off.
My name is Conrad Kemp, and I have the dubious honor of overseeing operations here.
It is a pleasure to meet you, Master Kemp. I am Alphino Leveilleur of the Scions of the Seventh Dawn, as are my comrades. Before I speak of our purpose here, pray allow me to thank you for sheltering Lyse, and Papalymo at great risk to yourselves.
No, there's no need for that. They risked their necks for us enough times. 'Twas the least we could do.
I wanted to, about the mask and...
Don't fret over that. You're not the first person to take up arms against the Empire under a false name. We'd do the same if we had any sense. My condolences for your loss, child.
Papalymo laid down his life to save us, to give us a chance to make a better future for ourselves. There will never be a better time to drive the Garleans from our lands. But we have to take the lead on this. We can't leave it to fanatics like Ilberd.
More than a few of our people were taken in by his promises. Followed him all the way to the wall. Good men and women who never came back. When Monago told us what had happened, how the bastard had made sacrifices of them for his twisted ritual, by Rolger it filled me with an unholy fury. But what's done is done. Best we can do now is see that it wasn't all in vain.
That is why we are here today, sir, to see that some good comes of this tragedy. On behalf of the Eorzean Alliance, we do hereby extend a formal offer of military assistance to the Alamegan resistance.
Do you now? Well, go on then. I'm sure there's more to it than that. So that's the way of it, eh? The Alliance, hoping to avoid a direct confrontation with the superior forces of the Empire, wishes to engage them by proxy with our vastly inferior ones. My comrades and I must confer on your proposal. A moment, if you please.
Of course, Master Kemp. Take all the time you require.
Well, we have opened... Negotiations doesn't feel like the right word, but... talkings. We've opened talkings. To be honest, I already know I want us to work together, but we've still got to talk it over with everyone. That makes sense. We'll need to call the other senior members together before we can make a decision. Fair enough. So the Gridanians are finally willing to fight, eh? It did take us a while. Apologies. I can't imagine that they would refuse, but if they did... So they would have us wait. Very well. Papalymo and I weren't entirely honest with you. Though we were sheltered in Little Alamigo at first, we spent most of our time here, working with Conrad and his people. But you probably guessed that the moment I led you to the Reach, didn't you? I had connected the dots, yes. It's not as though we have to stand around here indefinitely, do we? Feeling impatient. I understand. Yeah, let's do one more. Alphino's pondering how best to make use of your leisure. So it would seem we find ourselves with a surfeit of free time. Ah, forgive me. You're free to look around Rhalgr's Reach. In fact, I would encourage you to do so. It'll give you a better grasp of our current circumstances. Thank you, Master Kemp. I believe we will do just that. Let us make the most of this opportunity and assess the Resistance's capabilities. Free to poke our noses wheresoever we will, eh? I like the sound of that. Well, I already know this place inside and out. I can show you around if you like, Durmin. I'd love that. I love that you and I are finally spending a bunch of time together. Great. Let's get started. Yeah, give us the old sunset tour. It's very orange out here now. I bet you think the Resistance is mostly made up of Alamegan Highlanders like me, but the truth is we don't even account for half. We've got Hellsguard from all the way over by the Spine in here, and plenty of Seekers of the Sun like Nago. There's even some Beastmen. Well, Beast women, I suppose. Like that one over there. She's an Ananta. They've been with us for a while now. Oh, over there. Well, I'll walk us over and get a better look in a second. Well, one of the smaller factions has. The rest won't have anything to do with us. We're no different from the Garleans to them. They keep to themselves, spending all their time crafting. And not to make the most amazing jewelry, by the way. They use magics to twist metals and crystals into shapes you wouldn't believe. It's a pity people hardly ever get to see their work. But then mostly don't even know they exist. That's enough about them, anyway. Let's take a closer look at the statue of Rhalgr, shall we? First, though, the beast folk, the tribe she's referring to here, the Ananta. These are they. One of the new tribes of folks that we'll be encountering out here in Stormblood. Anyway, I lost track of you. Where'd you go? Lyse? There's so much good music in Stormblood, y'all. Some of the best in the game. We're gonna have a good time. Hello. Pretty awe-inspiring, isn't it? The Breaker of Worlds, who guided our ancestors to these lands all those centuries ago. Ida used to tell me the story on stormy nights. She wanted me to understand, to remember. At the end of the 5th Astral Era, when the waters rose higher and higher, people all across Eorzea beseeched the heavens for a sign. And lo, a burning star appeared in the eastern sky and led the way to these mountains of Garabania. They who were saved by his grace pledged to honor and revere him, to devote themselves to great works without and within. A storm of blood approaches fast, hells open, heavens weep, for no one soul doth lie beyond the measure of his reach. That last part was inscribed on the stone by a monk of the Fist of Rhalgr. Ida explained it to me. A day will come bringing strife and sorrow that none may escape. Waste not these precious hours, but in quiet preparation make strong the body and mind. I don't know if that storm of blood is finally upon us. But if it is, I have to believe that everything we've been through, everything that's led us to this point, will see us through in the end. Sorry, that was all a bit melodramatic, wasn't it? Let's keep moving, shall we? Off to the infirmary. I liked it. The infirmary then will be this away. Might as well sprint. Ooh, I can talk to you. Hello. the Vera have no love for the Imperials. Full glad are we to pledge our blades to the Resistance. Glad to have you. Your name's great, by the way. This is the Barber. You'll find countless injured fighters here, either undergoing treatment or awaiting it. Tread softly, should you go inside. I will try. Ooh, Y'shtola and Kryl just hanging out. Hello. You too are come to inspect their facilities. As you can see, they've done well to set aside this much space, but their supplies are insufficient. They do have a lot of space. We examined the patients and offered what assistance we could. However, for many of their injuries, time and bed rest are the only effective treatments. Alright, sorry to ignore you. This is the infirmary, as you can probably tell. Here's where the Resistance healers patch up the wounded and tend to the sick. No matter how carefully we planned our operations, casualties were inevitable. It's a sad thing to think about, but it's also important to remember the cost, as Conrad would say. We should go. I'll show you the Aetheryte Plaza next. Yes, please. I do believe yes, I can see it from here. And it's a hike. Quay friend. It's been a long hiking day. Here we are. Why don't I go ahead and do this again before I forget? Perfect. Okay. When you've seen one Aetheryte, you've seen them all, right? Not quite. This one's an older design, dating back decades, to when the Fist of Rhalgr was still here. It may look a little different, but it works just as well as any other. I'll show you where the Sutlers are next, but don't forget to attune to the Aetheryte before we go. Already done. And yeah, I really do love that with each expansion, and usually with each just sort of region of the world, the Aetherytes just look different and have different designs. They don't have to do that. But what a great detail. Lyse, what are Sutlers? This is not a word I know. Hey, talky one. Do you know this word? Hardly surprising. Where there's war, there's profit to be had. Ah, excellent. They've no shortage of Sutlers here, should we have need of their services. Yeah, I'm also pretending to know what that word is. Arms, armor, potions, you name it, these folks have got it. The Resistance would be in a bad way without brave merchants to keep it provisioned. If you're short on anything, or you need something repaired, these are the people to speak to. Oh, Alphino and Alice are here. Why don't we see how they're getting on? Sounds good to me, though we might end up doing that tomorrow. Or Wednesday, you know? Which one of these? Well, I am a monk. We'll go with this one. I mean, here, let's see what stuff looks like. That's a bit much, I think. Yeah, same. All of them are kinda, but this one's more my jam right now, so here we go. Love it. All right, well, welcome to Stormblood, everyone. This is gonna be a great time, and settle in, we're in for the long haul. Sorry again for such a long wait. Before I sign off, though, I do have one little announcement. Turns out we've got some new merch celebrating the return of this series. Starting today on the PlayFrame store, we finally have drinkware, themed after our good little snack deliveryman here. The design on these is done by Tom Steinberg. I love it. Pre-orders for both are available now. There's a link down in the description below. Go pre-order yours today. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you Wednesday for some more Final Fantasy XIV story mode. Goodbye!